I should have known something was wrong when Amanda insisted on throwing me a birthday party. My best friend since college, the queen of spontaneity, suddenly becoming a meticulous event planner? Red flag number 1. I'm Stella, and this is the story of how I burned my entire life to the ground and somehow came out stronger for it. You have to let me do this, Amanda had pleaded over coffee 3 weeks ago. You're turning 28. It's a milestone! 28 isn't a milestone, but I agreed because saying no to Amanda was like trying to stop a tornado with an umbrella. Besides, I had my own reasons for playing along. The venue was perfect, a trendy rooftop bar downtown with string lights and vintage furniture. As I climbed the stairs, fashionably late in my new black dress, I could hear the buzz of conversation and laughter floating down. There she is, Amanda's voice rang out as I pushed through the door. Everyone, the birthday girl has arrived. 40 faces turned to me, all wearing these weird anticipatory smiles. Derek, my boyfriend of 5 years, stood near the bar, looking pale. That's when I noticed his hands shaking around his whiskey glass. Red flag number 2. Amanda grabbed the microphone from the DJ booth. Before we get this party started, there's a very special announcement. My stomach dropped. I caught Laura's eye across the room, my voice of reason friend, and saw my own suspicion mirrored there. As Stella's best friend, I have the honor of sharing some amazing news, Amanda continued, her voice dripping with honey-coated venom. Derek finally did it. He proposed this morning, and our girl said yes. The crowd erupted in cheers and applause. Derek's glass slipped from his hand, shattering on the floor. Nobody noticed except me. I stepped forward, my heels clicking against the wooden deck. The crowd parted like the Red Sea, expecting me to run into Derek's arms. Instead, I locked eyes with Amanda and said, loud enough for everyone to hear, I'm not engaged, not to anyone in this room. The silence that followed was deafening. What do you mean you're not engaged? Amanda's voice cracked, but her smile stayed frozen in place. Derek, didn't you? I never proposed to anyone, Derek stammered, still staring at the broken glass at his feet. The party guests shifted uncomfortably, whispers rippling through the crowd. I pulled my phone from my clutch, nodding slightly to Athena, who stood by the DJ booth. You're right, Amanda. Derek didn't propose to me this morning, I said, my voice steady. He was too busy having breakfast with you at that little cafe on 4th Street. Amanda's face went white. I don't know what you're talking about. No? Let me refresh your memory. I turned to the crowd. Would anyone like to see what my best friend and boyfriend have been up to for the past 3 months? Stella, don't, Derek pleaded, finally moving toward me. We can talk about this privately. Like how you two talked privately in her apartment last week. I looked at Amanda. The walls in your building are pretty thin. Your neighbor, Mrs. Rodriguez says hi, by the way. Laura stepped forward, placing a protective hand on my shoulder. Stella, you don't have to do this here. Actually, I do. I nodded to Athena again. Because Amanda wanted an announcement, didn't you, sweetie? The projector hummed to life, casting its glow on the white wall behind the bar. There they were, dozens of screenshots of texts between Derek and Amanda, dating back months. Baby, I miss you. When can we tell her? Let's wait until after her birthday. The crowd gasped. Someone muttered, Oh my God. But I wasn't done. The security camera footage from Amanda's lobby came next. Derek sneaking in at midnight, leaving early morning, their kisses in the elevator. You wanted to humiliate me at my own birthday party, I said, walking toward Amanda. But here's the thing about betrayal. It's only powerful when it's a surprise. Amanda grabbed my arm. Stella, please, I can explain. Explain what? I yanked free. How you've been sleeping with my boyfriend, or how my mother helped you plan this whole thing? The room went dead silent. That's when the real show began. Your mother? Laura's voice cut through the silence. Celeste is involved in this? Amanda's mask finally cracked. She understood. She knew you didn't deserve any of this. Your perfect job, your perfect boyfriend, your perfect life. I laughed, the sound harsh and hollow. Perfect life? Is that what you think I have? Derek stepped between us. Stella, this isn't all Amanda's fault. You were always so distant, working late, keeping secrets. I was working late because I was getting promoted, I spat. While you were sleeping with my best friend, I was becoming the youngest marketing director in my company's history. But you wouldn't know that because you never asked. Tell them about the ring, Amanda, I continued, turning back to her. Tell them how my mother helped you pick it out. The crowd pressed closer, hungry for more drama. Someone was recording on their phone. Celeste said you were just like your father. Amanda's words tumbled out. Cold, unfeeling. She said you'd never appreciate Derek the way I could. And you believed her? Laura stepped forward, fists clenched. The woman who abandoned her own daughter? She didn't abandon me, I corrected, my voice ice cold. She chose her new husband over me. There's a difference. Amanda's eyes widened. What are you talking about? You want to know why I'm cold, Amanda? Why I work late and keep secrets? I moved closer, lowering my voice. Because when I was 17, my mother's husband crossed a line, and when I told her, she called me a liar. Gasps rippled through the crowd. Derek looked sick. But you, Amanda's voice shook. You were always so close with Celeste in college. You went to lunch together, shopping. No, Amanda, that was you. You latched onto my mother like a replacement for your own, and she used you to get to me. I didn't know, she whispered. Of course you didn't. But here's what really kills me, I said, pulling up one final text on the projector. You knew about this party for months, because my mother helped you plan it. The message glowed above us. Perfect, darling. This will break her just like we discussed. Celeste. You really want to know what a perfect life looks like, Amanda? I pulled up another set of photos on the projector. Here's you and my mother having lunch last month at Le Petit. Here's you trying on rings at Carlton's Jewelers. Here's the receipt for the ring, paid for by Celeste's credit card. Amanda stumbled backward. She said she wanted to help make things right. Right for whom? I advanced on her. The woman who threw her own daughter under the bus to protect her social status? The woman who told everyone I was troubled after what happened with Jack? Jack? Derek's head snapped up. Your stepfather, Jack? Former stepfather, I corrected. The man my mother chose to believe over her own daughter. The man she's still married to, by the way. How's that for troubled? Laura grabbed my hand, squeezing it tight. Stella, you don't have to... No, I do. I turned to address the whole room. Because everyone here thinks they know me, the ice queen, the workaholic, the emotionally unavailable girlfriend. But none of you ever asked why. Amanda sank into a chair, mascara streaming down her face. Celeste said you were jealous of our relationship, that you couldn't stand seeing me happy. Happy? I laughed. You were being groomed, Amanda, just like I was. But instead of a predatory stepfather, you got a predatory mother figure who used your daddy issues to turn you into her perfect weapon. That's not true, she whispered, but her voice wavered. Tell me something, I said, sitting across from her. Did she suggest the breakfast dates with Derek? Did she tell you which perfume to wear? Which stories from my past to use against me? Amanda's silence was answer enough. My mother is a master manipulator, I continued, standing up. And you fell for every single trick. because you wanted so desperately to be loved that you didn't care who you hurt in the process. I walked to the door, pausing to look back at the wreckage of my birthday party. Congratulations, Amanda. You're exactly the daughter Celeste always wanted. As I left, I heard Derek call my name, but I was done listening to lies. By morning, the videos were everywhere. Your birthday party betrayal was trending, and my phone wouldn't stop buzzing with notifications. Have you seen this? Laura texted, sending a link to Amanda's company's website. Her profile had been removed from the Our Team page. Derek's LinkedIn showed he was suddenly seeking new opportunities. But I wasn't done. I pulled into the circular driveway of my mother's Victorian mansion, the same house where I'd learned to hide my tears. Celeste opened the door before I could knock, perfect as always in her cream silk blouse and pearls. I wondered when you'd show up, she said, stepping aside. Tea? Cut the act, Mother. She poured herself a cup anyway, hands steady. I assume this is about Amanda's little party. Little party? I pulled out my phone, starting the recording. You mean your carefully orchestrated attempt to humiliate me? Oh, darling. She smiled, that cold smile I knew so well. Amanda was so easy to mold, so desperate for maternal approval, rather like you used to be. Before or after you chose Jack over me. You always were dramatic. She stirred her tea. Jack was a perfect husband. You were a teenager desperate for attention. I have proof, I said, pulling out an envelope. Of everything, the ring receipts, the planning meetings, the texts where you coached Amanda on how to steal Derek. For the first time, Celeste's mask slipped. You're bluffing. Am I? I stood up. You know what I realized? You didn't help Amanda because you cared about her. You did it because you couldn't stand seeing me happy. You needed to fall, she hissed, mask fully cracking. You needed to learn that your perfect little life could crumble just like mine did when you accused Jack. My phone chimed. A text from Athena. Got it all. Audio and video. Uploading now. I showed Celeste the security camera feed from her own living room, streaming live to Athena's server. Smile, Mother. You're about to go viral. She lunged for my phone, but I was already walking out. Behind me, I heard her china cup shatter against the wall. Some things really do run in the family. The video of Celeste's confession hit the internet like a bomb. Within hours, she'd resigned from 3 charity boards. By evening, her country club membership was under review. Your mother's trying to do damage control, Laura said, scrolling through her phone. We were hiding out at her apartment, watching the chaos unfold. She's claiming the video was manipulated. Hard to manipulate what comes straight from your own security cameras, I replied, sipping wine. My phone lit up with another call from Amanda. 7th one today. She's been posting these long apology essays on Instagram. Laura showed me the screen. Says she was manipulated by maternal trauma or something. Funny how trauma becomes an excuse when you're caught. The doorbell rang. Laura checked the peephole and swore. It's Derek. Please, Stella, his voice carried through the door. Just let me explain. I was weak. Amanda was there when you were always working. When I was working to build a future for us, I shouted back. While you were building a life with someone else. At least I didn't broadcast our private life to the whole world. Laura yanked the door open. No, you just helped destroy someone's trust at their own birthday party. Get out before I call security. After he left, my phone chimed with a text from Athena. Check your email. Found something interesting in Celeste's cloud storage. The email contained years of correspondence between my mother and Amanda. Long before Derek, before the party, Celeste had been grooming Amanda since college, positioning herself as the mother figure Amanda never had. Jesus, Laura whispered, reading over my shoulder. She's been planning this for years. Revenge isn't petty, I said, forwarding the emails to my lawyer. It's justice finally dressed. That evening, a letter arrived at Laura's door. Celeste's elegant handwriting on cream stationery, an empire without an heir always falls. Laura tried to grab the letter, but I held it over the candle on her coffee table, watching the paper catch fire. Let it burn, I said, dropping the flaming letter into her metal waste bin. I'm done being her heir. The paper curled and blackened, taking my mother's threats with it. So, Stella, what made you decide to come forward with your story? The interviewer, a sympathetic woman named Rachel, leaned forward in her chair. We were live on her morning show, my first and only interview about everything that happened. Because silence protects the wrong people, I said, looking directly into the camera. My mother taught me to keep secrets, to maintain appearances. But appearances nearly destroyed me. Your story has resonated with so many people, Rachel said, gesturing to the social media reactions scrolling on the screen behind us. Particularly the part about generational trauma. It's never just about a cheating boyfriend or a backstabbing friend, I replied. Those are symptoms of deeper wounds. Amanda didn't steal Derek because she loved him. She did it because my mother made her believe she deserved to take what was mine. And your mother? Has she reached out since the videos went viral? Only through her lawyers. I smiled without humor. But I'm not afraid anymore. That's why I'm legally changing my name. I'm done carrying her legacy. What would you say to other people dealing with toxic family members? Blood isn't always thicker than water. Sometimes it's just what drowns you. I straightened in my chair. My mother didn't just betray me when I was 17. She spent years orchestrating my downfall because I dared to speak the truth about her husband. That must have been incredibly difficult to process. It was. But here's what I learned. Derek and Amanda weren't my enemies. They were just the consequences of growing in toxic soil. My mother planted seeds of destruction in everyone around me, and then acted surprised when everything went up in flames. As the interview wrapped up, my phone buzzed with a notification. A photo message from an unknown number, Amanda sitting on the steps outside my apartment building, head in her hands. One last question, Rachel said. Do you regret exposing everything so publicly? I thought about Amanda waiting at my apartment, about Derek's desperate calls, about my mother's empire crumbling. The truth is like fire, I said finally. It burns everything it touches. But sometimes that's exactly what needs to happen. You're really not going to talk to her? Laura asked, watching Amanda's figure through my apartment window. She'd been coming every day for a week. Some bridges need to stay burned, I said, packing another box. The new apartment across town was waiting. My phone buzzed with a news alert. Socialite Celeste steps down from final board position amid controversy. Below was a photo of my mother, finally looking her age, hurrying into a car. Did you see Derek move to Seattle? Laura taped up a box labeled kitchen. Amanda checked into some wellness retreat in Arizona. Good for them. I meant it. Everyone needs to heal somewhere. The doorbell rang. Through the peephole, I saw Athena holding coffee. Brought you something better than revenge, she said, handing me a steaming cup. Also, Jack finally released a statement. I took a sip. Let me guess, he's deeply troubled by these accusations? Actually, he confessed. 2 other girls came forward after your interview. Celeste is divorcing him. The coffee suddenly tasted sweeter. You know what's funny? I said, setting down my cup. I spent so long thinking revenge would fix everything. But it just showed me what was already broken. Laura hugged me from behind. You didn't break anything, Stella. You just stopped pretending it was whole. Through the window, I watched Amanda finally stand up and walk away. Part of me wanted to run after her, to hear her explanation, to understand why. But some questions don't deserve answers. Ready? Athena asked, picking up a box. I looked around my half-empty apartment. The walls that had witnessed my relationship with Derek, my friendship with Amanda, my calls with my mother, they were just walls now. Clean slate. Almost, I said, pulling out my new business cards. Simple, elegant, with my new name, Stella Rivers. Rivers? Laura raised an eyebrow. Because they don't flow backward, I explained, tucking the cards away. And neither do I. We carried the boxes down to the moving truck, leaving behind the empty rooms and their heavy memories. Some people get flowers, some get truth. I gave everyone exactly what they deserved and walked away with peace.